Thank you. Mr. Westerman's comments rang a bell with me as well, and I'm sorry he's not here to engage in a colloquy, although I can't quote Teddy Roosevelt chapter and verse. I share the admiration for him for a number of reasons. But I do want to respond that, budgets when they come up here from the administration are not just suggestions. They are policy statements by the administration. They are priority statements by the administration, both individually and collectively. And I just want to state for the record that I agree with my colleagues here that a 14% reduction in the programs that are recommended, that are funded through DOI, to me indicates that this is not a priority area. I just have to say that. And I want to give you one example that, from an amount perspective, is a blip on the radar screen in the DOI's overall budget, but is of incredible significance to many, many people, and that is the Japanese American confinement sites. This is a program that is not funded significantly. In fact, I believe that it's underfunded. I believe that that funding should be increased. This recognizes, memorializes, and teaches the lessons of history to the future of one of the worst injustices ever visited on any Americans by Americans, and that was the incarceration of Japanese Americans, over 100,000 in the Second World War, including members of my wife's family, and confinement sites is a politically correct term. Internment camps would be a better description. Topaz, Manzanar, Tule Lake, Minnetonka, you can go down the list, including the birthplace of some members of Congress, our colleagues. So you can tell that this is very, very significant to many, many people, and not just Japanese Americans. This is of significance to many. If I understand your budget, you have zeroed it out. Now, I'm looking at your budget explanation, and you say that here that in 2020 the National Park Service proposes to include funding for the Japanese American confinement sites grants in the cultural programs activities. I think it's $2+ million. Not a whole bunch of money, frankly, but still significant from the perspective of continuing the programs. And yet when I look at cultural program activity, I see it zeroed out there as well. So my question is it in fact zeroed out? Is this program proposed for being zeroed out, number one? And number two, what does that really say about the position of DOI in the recognition of this incredibly bad chapter in our history?
Congressman, I agree with you. It was an incredibly bad chapter in our history, and I believe, and this is subject to confirmation, but I believe that we've got 2.9 million. No, hold on. All right, yeah, you are correct, sir. It was zeroed out, and I would also agree with you that was a very bad period in American history, and tough decisions are made in any budget-making process, and the Congress certainly has the ability to work its will on those budget recommendations, and we'll look forward to seeing what the Congress might decide to do.
Well, sir, I appreciate your honest answer. I would tell you that from an analysis perspective, that was absolutely tone deaf. Not a whole bunch of money in the big picture, but incredible significance. So I hope whoever made that decision, communicate back to them from the folks I represent and from a lot of people across the country that was unacceptable to take the position that this should be zeroed out as a matter of priorities. Enough said about that. I want to follow up on my colleague from Guam's comments on the compact impact aid. And I want to tell you that I share his concerns very much. You have maintained funding at $30 million, if I'm not mistaken, for compact impact aid, which is the authorized amount under our Compactor Free Association. I will tell you that is absolutely woefully inadequate. Now, this isn't an appropriation matter currently, unless you had proposed to reduce that amount for some reason, because you're at the authorized amount. But when you have a state like Hawaii that is bearing compact impact aid consequences of well above our $15 or so million share, in fact, estimates at $100 million plus, you are going to lose the public support for the compact free associations going forward when they come up for authorization. My time is about up. we would love to work with you on fixing this as the compact comes up for another renegotiation.
We'd be delighted, I think, to have that conversation along with your colleague from Guam, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.